Hey everybody, it's Randy Ray at the Literate Texan here at Driftwood Ranch, and I got tagged today for Tag Tuesday. I know it's a little late for me to be making this video because I should have made my Tag Tuesday early this morning. This is the Intimidating TBR Tag, and this is how naive I was up until a few months ago. I didn't know what a TBR was. So, if you're a little new to this, and I'm aware that most of my viewers aren't, but if you are, TBR stands for to be read, and it's just a stack of books or a list of books that you're meaning to read, okay? So, not everybody uses any kind of formal TBR. Before I started making BookTube videos, I wasn't using any kind of formal TBR either. So it was kind of a new concept to me. But at any rate, my lovely friend Kat at the Ginger Bibliophile, or a Ginger Bibliophile, or just Ginger Bibliophile, my favorite redheaded Ginger Bibliophile. Redheaded Ginger Bibliophile is kind of redundant, isn't it? Tag me in this. There's, as usual with the tag, there's a list of questions here, and the answers come in the form of a book, okay? So, it's mostly a list of books that I haven't been able to finish because ... So, the first one is, what book have you been unable to finish because you haven't had time, ? Well, I disagree with the premise of this question, first of all, because if it's important to you and it's a priority, you'll find the time to get it read. But, you know what? I will say that there are some books that are less of a priority than others, especially when compared to the length of them. I've been meaning to read the Ministry of the Future, which is one of those eco-terror novels about how bad cli-fi is what they call it, climate fiction. Anyway, I believe it's Kim Stanley Robinson, author of the Mars trilogy, which I've read part of and thought was terrific. Anyway, I really liked what I read for the Ministry of the Future. It was just so long, and it seemed like it was going to be so time-consuming that I set it aside for other books that seemed like more of a priority for me. But, and I'm not going to hold up books for this video, because some of them I don't have anything but e-copies for, and yeah, it's a tag video. I don't know how much time I'm going to spend on it, but yeah, so what book have you been unable to finish because it's a sequel? Okay, so I would probably say Streets of Laredo, because I've heard, and it's not even so much that it's intimidating, it's just that I've heard different things about it. Some people have told me Streets of Laredo, by the way, is the sequel to Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. And everyone has told me that none of the Lonesome Dove books are as good as the original Lonesome Dove. But Streets of Laredo, I understand, is the best of the sequels, and it's a pretty good book. So it's actually moved up my TBR list, and I'm probably going to try to finish it by the end of June on the Range. What book have you been unable to finish because it's brand new? I don't remember the name of it, and I meant to look it up before I started filming this, but it's the new Emily Henry novel. My daughter, Mary, and I are big fans of Emily Henry, and we're big fans of lighthearted contemporary romance novels, too. And Emily Henry's our favorite, and apparently she's the favorite of a lot of people because it looks like there's just a whole bunch of people who like Emily Henry books well enough that they've optioned every single one of them to be made into a film, a movie, which is great. Maybe this is the resurgence of the romantic comedy industry. But you know what? I've read a bunch of Emily Henry novels recently, so I've moved that a little further down the priority list. And that's the main thing about TBR lists, is the priorities keep changing based on various factors. It's not that I don't have time to read it. I've got the same, we each have 168 hours a week. I've got the same 168 hours a week that you do. Is it 168 hours? Yeah. 24 times 7 is 168. I can still do math. I might forget your name if I run into you, but I can still multiply. What book have you been unable to finish because you read a book by the same author and didn't like it? Okay, so this is a tricky one because I've chosen two here, and it's not a single book for either one of them. It's a series of books. Okay, the Shatner version novels by William Shatner and his ghostwriters, collaborators, William and Garfield Reeves Stevens, which I'm mangling their names and always do. I've read most of those, but not all of them. And I've liked most of those, but not all of them. So it makes it hard to make it a priority to read those. But I've got 3 months of summer to fill with Trek-filled reading because this summer is The Wrath of the Summer of Book Trek. So I'm going to try to read all of the Shatnerverse novels this summer. There's 9 of them, 10 if you count the Starfleet Academy book that he wrote, which was, immediately obsolete since they made that Star Trek movie, which largely took place at the Academy. But that's the first one. The second one is the Gunslinger Dark Tower series from Stephen King, because Stephen King is another one of those writers where, I love some of his books, I hate other of his books. It's rare that I have a kind of iffy reaction to a Stephen King book. It's a love it or hate it kind of thing. And that holds true even of the novels of that series that I've read. And I've only read the first 3 novels, but I really enjoyed the first one. I don't remember if it was the second or the third novel that I didn't like as well, but it's kind of unmotivated me to finish the entire series, although I'd like to finish the entire series. What book have you been unable to finish because you're not in the mood for it? Moby Dick. Been meaning to read Moby Dick for a long time. I've started it before and not finished it. And I don't think summertime's the right time to be reading Moby Dick. I think it starts off on the very first page talking about a damp, drizzly November of the soul. So maybe Moby Dick will be the first thing I read in November. I don't know. What book have you been unable to finish because it's humongous? That's The Count of Monte Cristo. Really big book. Not the only book I haven't finished because it's really humongous. It's not the only book that's intimidating because it's humongous. But, that's the first one that came to mind. What book have you been unable to finish because it was a cover buy that turned out to have bad reviews? I don't have any books that fit into that category, so I'm going to pass on that one. I rarely pass on these questions. I just don't have one that fits there. And, okay, so what is the most intimidating book in your to-be-read list? In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust. And I will have more to say about that on Thursday, because I'm collaborating with a friend here on BookTube to put together a year-long reading event where several of us will be going through the novel together. Also, okay, I was tagged by Ginger Bibliophile. She mentioned, I can't even read that. Somebody's Book Corner and Beyond Books WT5IL. I'll put all this in the description, don't worry. And I'm supposed to tag some folks too. The description, by the way, I'm going to update in the morning. So if you're watching this tonight and you're looking for the tags and stuff, you'll see all that tomorrow morning when I update the description. But I am going to tag 4 people. And the first is the Grape Jelly Library. The second is Roy Reads Anything. The third is Kelly Seeks Books. And the fourth, and forgive me if I mispronounce this, Rana Najar. That's as close as I can get. If that's not correct, forgive me. And when you do your tag, if you do your tag, if you don't want to do it, obviously you don't have to. But when you do your tag, you can correct my horrible pronunciation. But I'll include all the prompts for the tags and stuff when I update the description down below, which I will have updated by tomorrow morning. I'm behind on those, and I'm going to get those caught up in the morning before I have a lunch date with a buddy. I've been uploading videos pretty consistently, but I haven't been feeling well consistently over the last couple of weeks. But I'm having a good day today, and I don't see any reason why I wouldn't have a good day tomorrow too. But those are Randy's answers to the Intimidating TBR Tag for Tag Tuesday. The intimidating to be read pile of books on Randy's stack. I'll be back with more videos soon. I have another tag to do tonight because it's still Tag Tuesday. It's midnight yet. And, until I see you again, stay sexy, stay hydrated, and try to read something cool, man.